In today's tutorial we're going to paint a peaceful winter scene with snow-covered trees using acrylic paints. Whether you're a beginner or just looking for a relaxing painting project, this simple step-by-step guide will walk you through how to create this beautiful winter scene. Hi, I'm Rachel. I create colourful paintings and I make tutorials so that you can learn how to paint them too. This is a sped up video, but if you would like to watch the full-length tutorial in real time where you can paint along with me with step-by-step instructions, then just head over to my Patreon, which is Rachel Froud Art. If you join my Patreon, you'll get instant access to all of my full-length art tutorials. To start the painting, we'll need to paint a gradient over the background to create the sunrise. To do this, use really light shades of blue, pink, orange and yellow paint and blend them together. I've created a video showing you my favourite blending techniques for acrylic paint, so I'll add a link to that below. Once the background is painted, we can start to build up the scene using layers. In the first layer, we can use pink paint to add in some mountains in the distance. Then use some light purple paint to paint some small trees in front of the mountains. Don't worry about adding too much detail at this stage, as these trees aren't the main focus of the painting. You can start by painting vertical lines for the trunks, and then use a small paintbrush to add the branches on either side. Then we can add another layer of trees just in front of these ones using a slightly darker shade of purple. These will still be really far in the distance, so don't spend too much time adding details. Use the same technique as before to create these trees, making sure the branches are smaller at the top and wider at the bottom of each tree. Use a really light shade of blue to add some snow to the bottom section of the canvas. Then use a slightly darker shade of blue to add some shadows on either side. This will be where we paint our trees, so we're creating the shadows that will be underneath the trees. It's easier to add the shadows at this stage as we can just paint the trees on top. I used a smaller paintbrush to gently blend the edges of the shadows into the rest of the snow. Then we can add a little bit of white paint to brighten up the middle section that will be lit up by the sun. To paint the trees in the foreground, we'll be using the same technique as before, but this time we'll add more contrast and more detail. Paint a vertical line for the tree trunk and then move your paintbrush outwards from the trunk in a rough and random way to create the natural looking branches. Make sure the branches are small at the top and get wider as you move further down the trunk to get the triangular shape of the pine tree. We want to use a lighter blue paint for the trees at the back, and then as the trees get nearer to us we'll make the blue darker. This helps to add depth to the painting as the lighter trees will look further away. Continue to add as many trees as you'd like to the canvas using the exact same technique. You can switch to a larger paintbrush if you need to as the trees get bigger. Each tree will just be one solid colour at the moment, but as you'll see in a minute, when we add the snow they'll really come to life. My favourite part of this painting was adding the snow to the trees. It's amazing how much difference this makes to the overall piece, and it's so simple to do. Mix a shade of mid to light blue paint and use the same paintbrush to add a small layer of paint on top of each branch of the tree. Don't focus too much on the detail as the random marks will make the snow look more natural. Try to add the snow in different areas rather than just adding one horizontal line across the tree. We're starting with blue paint to create the more shaded areas of snow, so it may look a little dark at the moment, but don't worry as we'll be building up the highlights with white paint soon. Mix a lighter shade of blue and start to lighten the snow on the sides of the trees that will be lit up by the sun. As the sun is in the middle of the painting, this will be the sides of the trees that are facing towards the centre. Lightening just these sides of the trees helps to make them look more three-dimensional and realistic. Then, to finish the trees, use white paint to brighten the very lightest parts of the snow on each tree. So this will be the tops of the snow on the edges nearest to the sun. We can warm up the snow in the middle of the trees by adding some light pink paint. This will help to give the effect that the sunlight is shining on the snow, which will bring the whole painting together. Another one of my favourite parts of this painting was the sun, as it makes such a difference to the overall piece. Use a really light shade of yellow paint to add a circle just above the mountains where the centre of the yellow section of the sky is. Then water down this paint slightly and pull it outwards from the sun to create the sunbeams. Paint the sunbeams all around the sun and over the top of the mountains. To finish the painting, we can add some snow by splattering white paint over the canvas. I'll add a link to the video that I've created showing you the exact technique I use to splatter acrylic paint. Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos like this.